So, dear friends, good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Today, I have come here along with one new topic which we will discuss today, where we will see SAP and SAP FICO in particular as a career choice. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Basically, we will talk more from the career decision perspective, and remember that this is a very critical and very important decision in somebody's life. It does not matter who the person is, the decisions is having a very big impact in somebody's lifetime. Okay, let's move on to the next. So, what basically we are going to cover up in this particular presentation is how to make a right career choice with regard to the SAP in particular. I will say what all the factors are there which will affect the career choice of an individual, how to choose a career at the different stages of professional life. I will say uh, how the freshers, I mean college pass outs, certified people, trained people who are actually freshers for SAP, how they can take it up. And then people are there with some or the other kind of work experience, whether SAP related or non SAP related. I have just mentioned a few of them like BPO and users. They also sometimes work on SAP. Uh, Business core team members, accounting and non-accounting background peoples. Others. I mean, sometimes even the technical people who do not have any touch base with SAP, they also try to get into the SAP with having some kind of technical work experience as such. Okay. The next topic would be how to enter in the SAP job market and what is to be kept in mind while trying to enter in the SAP job market. How to choose the right SAP module for yourself, the various kind of questions and queries. To conclude with, we will go with what is my personal opinion with regard to the career in the SAP side, and finally we will conclude with the conclusion part. Okay, so before I move further, it's my sincere request that creating such kind of videos takes a lot of effort and time into it. My request to you all viewers is please watch this video from end to end to understand the complete perspective. That is point number one. And second is kindly subscribe this YouTube channel because going forward I will keep on bringing some serious videos with regard to SAP FICO in particular and in general also from the career perspective. Remember that though I have kept this entire video SAP in focus as a career, but that does not mean that it not at all apply for other careers as well. Couple of points will be applicable for one and all no matter what the career path is and no matter at which stages of the person is staying where from where they are looking at the various other options available for them to choose a right career or maybe to switch a career or maybe to make a right move in the right career with the right direction. Okay, so now let's on move to the next slide as such. So career is made of, as you can see what all things it is made of, right? You can have interest, you can have your value system, okay, you can have your skills, you can have the goals in your life, education, development and so on, right? So put together all these things makes your career. And remember it is not a single facet item as such or single facet I will say area. It is actually a multi-facet area with multi-dimensional experience. It will never have a single dimension, it will always have a multi-dimensional. So we have to always look career as a multi-dimensional perspective rather than single dimensional perspective. Okay, let's move on to the next. Right career choice. how to make a right career choice. So, what all things you need to keep in mind when deciding for a career? Remember, as career is meant for a long term, so you cannot have a very narrow minded viewpoint with regard to the career. Otherwise, it will become very bad decision for the rest of your life if you have a narrow mindset. Keep an open mindset and have a longer view, not a shorter view. So, first and foremost important thing is you need to check yourself that in which area you have the interest, because end of the day without interest you will not love your career, you will not love your job, and if you don't love your job you will not be able to go far away in that particular area or in the domain whatever you choose, be it SAP, be it non SAP, does not matter at all. Now again, another point would be that do not follow others blindly. There are many people in your life, in your world, where they will keep on giving you some or the other kind of suggestions. Suppose your friend circle everybody is moving in the SAP side, that does not mean that you also must move into the SAP side only. Yes, I agree that SAP has a lot of job opportunities, but then remember, all job opportunities are not available for everybody. Every job has its own set of terms and conditions, and unless you fit into those all specific terms and conditions, then only you will be eligible to get into that kind of job. I hope this particular point is very clear to you all. So please do not follow somebody else blindfold. Okay, you have to check yourself and then move further into it. So, before you decide on a career what to pick it up, you have to do a self awareness study. You will ask, what do you mean by self awareness study? Self awareness means what I want to do with my life, how much time and effort I am going to put in into the particular work which I am choosing as my career, how much skill sets I have, whether it is hard skill sets or soft skill sets, how good I am in the communication, how good I am at in convincing others, how is my body language, how is my personality, whether my personality will fit into the job or not, right? And this is not the entire list of it. There is a whole bunch of lists, and unfortunately I cannot jot down all the points over here. It's a very detailed one, but I will say all these points you are supposed to check before you choose your career, because each point can make or break your career. Each of these points, I just mentioned a couple of them. Okay, also don't just choose career, you also should have a right discussion with the right set of people to decide on a particular career. Unless you have a discussion, if you are a fresher for example and you don't have visibility of lot of things, you might end up choosing a wrong career if you don't discuss things properly. Everybody thinks that somebody else will decide for me. No, this is not the right way to choose the career. Why somebody else should decide for your career? Your career is your personal responsibility, right? And making your career success also is your personal responsibility, personal commitment. Everything is personal, just like your debit card and credit card. It is actually more personal than your debit card and credit card, right? So have a thorough discussion, have an understanding, and then based on your parameters, based on your choice, based on your different opinions, and then you decide where you finally wanted to end up in your life in terms of career. Okay, then pros and cons of your career choice. You also need to decide what all the advantages the career which I am going to make, what all the advantages it will have, and how what all the disadvantages it will have. Remember one thing, there is no career available in the world which will have only plus points or only minus points. it will always have a combination of both, right? So if that is the case, then you need to decide what all plus points I want to have and what all minus points I will have to adjust with. These 2 points also are very critical. Nowadays people are running behind SAP job market purely because of just one reason, which they always keep in mind, that this job gives you lot of money, lot of revenue and lot of income. Yes, it gives, no doubt about it, but then are you ready to fulfill all its terms and conditions? Are you really ready for it? Do you know what is the pain in order to have that gain which you wish to have in your life, or which you wish to have in your hand, right? So don't jump into an ocean blindly thinking that it will give me lot of pearls, lot of diamonds, lot of valuable items, right? If you jump like that, be sure that in most of the cases you will sink in, you will not get anything out of it. It is not to discourage you or not to put you down in any way out. It is just to give you a perspective which you must have in focus while deciding for your career, right? Then you also need to think about what kind of job market is available for the given career which you are choosing from. Suppose, let me give you one example, probably that will give you a better perspective. Think often, suppose somebody is planning to make career in the armed forces. I mean, maybe Air Force, maybe in Army, or maybe in the Navy, right? So, if that kind of job is what you are looking at as your career, then you need to see a lot of things. Whether you have to stay always from the home, you should be uncomfortable in dealing with lot of new situations, new set of people. You will have a rigorous training. You must be always physically fit and fine, right? Plus, the job will also bring the risk of your life as well along with that, right? If you are ready to fulfill all these conditions and still you feel that yes, you have the passion to serve the nation as the armed forces personnel, you can choose your career accordingly. Same goes with SAP also, but with a different set of parameters. Okay, the parameter for each job will be always unique in nature. It will not a cut copy paste from one job description to the another job description. Within the same SAP job market also, the variety what it has and variety what it offers, you just cannot count how many varieties it has on your fingers. Counting is highly impossible. Job to job, it differs. Client to client, it differs. And variety to variety also, it differs. Country to country, it differs. So the differential parameters are literally too many to deal with, right? So you need to see what kind of job market you have in your hand, what all opportunities it will have, and what all the factors, risk factors also you need to deal with it, right? Then you also need to see that what kind of competition this particular job environment has. If you talk particularly about SAP side, it has literally cutthroat competition. If you really want to secure a job, please ensure that you should have capability to beat at least 100 people in the queue. If you can beat 100 people in the queue, as you know, the population of India is very huge. Here I am purely talking from the Indian perspective. So people from other countries, if you are listening it, please don't mind saying all these things, okay? I am just talking from the Indian perspective. The competition is there everywhere, but particularly in India, competition is too much. So if you beat at least 100 people, probably then you can secure one job for yourself. Plus remember one thing, just entering the job is not enough. You have to survive the job also, and there also you have to struggle a lot. So it is not going to be an easy life in any way, right? So competition and the kind of nature of job environment which you are going to work on, that also you have to keep in mind. Another important point is, if you are deciding for your career, If you feel that you are not having enough information in hand, if you feel that you are not able to make a right decision, you can take a professional help also. There are a lot of things like professional career coach kind of thing, right? So that kind of services also you can avail if you really feel that you are not coming to a conclusion in a proper manner. Remember one thing, as this is a very critical decision for life, it can either make your life or it can even break your life, right? So it will have both potentials. So that is why you need to be utmost cautious, utmost seriousness, and don't take it for granted. Otherwise, even career will also take you for granted. Remember one thing, everything is two-way process. It's not one-way process. If you take career as granted, even career will take you for granted. Then whatever it will tell you, you will have to do it. You will not have a choice to run away, right? So that is the reason being I am saying choose carefully and choose the right one which is the best suited for you. Remember, end of the day, whatever career or whatever decision you will make, you and your life will be fully held accountable for that. No second thought about it. Whether it will bring good results, it will sit on you. Whether it will bring bad results, it will again sit on you only. It will not go to anybody else. It does not matter how many persons you have in your life. Career is always a personal responsibility, is what I always feel about. It will never be a collective responsibility. Okay, it is always individual's responsibility, a personal commitment, a personal responsibility. Let's move on to the next slide. Factors affecting career. What all the important factors are there which can affect your career? And remember, these things are mostly general in nature. For example, what is the age of the candidate? Remember, for a lot of jobs, your age also plays very important role. If you are going to an army, then you should be anything between 18 to 21. That's what in general, and even 8th pass can apply for it. But then suppose you are applying for a business executive job, then you might even need to have an MBA degree with you, right? With the right age and other things. So a lot of things are there. So age is one of the important factor. Then educational experience, I mean what kind of education you have, whether you are in the commerce stream or whether you are in the science stream, whether you are in the any arts section, or if you have any kind of IT or non IT related trainings, and likewise, right? We have so many streams. Are you going to the engineering side or in the medical side, or we have so many course options to choose from, right? From the 10th, 12th, graduation, post graduation, PhD, and so on. The list is very long, right? Then also, which can decide your career is if you have gained some kind of work experience by way of doing some mini project, by way of engaging into some kind of internship work and things like that. And if you are, suppose if you are not a complete fresher, you have some work experience, so that work experience also will help you to decide whether how to go about choosing a right career. Then what kind of interest you have and what kind of mindset you have for the job or career you are choosing upon. So this is also very important factor. Interest level, I mean how dedicated you are towards the area of the work which you have chosen. If you are not dedicated enough, you will not put your 100% into it. Nowadays even 100% is not enough. People expect 500% out of a person put into the job in order to succeed and move ahead in the particular given career, right? And even mindset, suppose somebody has a very narrow mindset and that person has gone into the sales job, for example, that person will not be able to sell anything. He will fail miserably over there. Why? Because his mindset is not fitting into the job. So mindset also matters. Remember, at the beginning of your career, you should have always a learning mindset, not an earning mindset, because money you can earn at any stage in your life, but learning, probably it will be difficult as you grow older in your career. and in your life as well. Okay, then you also need to see, you have to balance between learning and earning. As I said, learning must be given preference compared to the earning. Even if earning is low, once you have couple of years of experience in the given field or career you have chosen, earning will grow further. But then remember, this is not a hard and fast rule. Many a times people stay with the same kind of compensation for a prolonged period of time. So in that case, then you need to do some, probably some course correction with regard to your career. Then you also need to see that what kind of future prospects or maybe the future opportunities the job can offer you, or maybe the career can offer you. Rather than job, I will talk mainly from the career perspective, because career is much more bigger than a job. Job any company can give you. Career is you, what you choose, right? Then what is your attitude towards the job? How good at you are in your communication with regard to lot of factors, right? And how good you are in terms of presentation, because many a times you might need to present yourself, and sometimes you need to present lot of uh, I will say the lot of facts, figures, and lot of the planning and other related items, right? So what is your attitude also will decide which kind of career you have. Then there are many work which will make you to relocate from the place where you are staying currently. It will also might force you to work into different time zones. I mean, we have in India IST time zones, right? But in, suppose think of USA, then the time zone will be completely different. It can be CST, it can be EST, it can be PST, it can be PT. I think around 3 4 5 3 4 5 3 4 time zones are there in the US, based on which people work. And then each country will fall into some or the other kind of different time zones, right? So time zone also will play a very important role. If you are in India, you might need to follow the time zones. If you relocate to the given country, then that the situation might be little different, right? Then you also will have to work on the various kind of shift based working pattern, because not every job is like 9 to 5 jobs. It's not the case anymore. World has changed a lot. Accordingly, even job has, the nature of job also has changed a lot. So suppose your client is sitting in USA, so you might need to work during the whole night shift as well. So it is a, again, a choice. As I said, this can also affect your career, right? You also need to decide whether you are a right fit for the career which you have chosen. A right fit means, are you able to fulfill all the terms and conditions given by the career in order to fit into the work. For example, certain jobs needs you to have a certain level of fitness at any point of time to perform the job properly. If by any chance you become unfit, you might need to leave that job and move into a different career altogether, right? And likewise it goes for various things. It's not just one or two items as such. I just gave one example as a physical fitness. There can be many other things, right? Again, as I said, if you want to decide on a career, take a professional help if needed, and also remember that it is a lifelong decision. So switching a career in a midlife can prove very costly in nature. I'm not saying that you cannot switch it, but you have to switch it carefully. You have to give all the factors its due consideration, due weightage, and then arrive at a decision how to go about doing it up further, right? Then at which stage of your life you are planning to change your career or choosing your career depends. Not everybody has the same kind of life journey. Everybody is different, right? That means if somebody is choosing career right in after passing out from the college, then it will be a different package game altogether. If somebody has few years of work experience, then they are changing it. it can be different one. And also, if suppose somebody is in 40s and 50s and then they are planning to make a switch in their career, the entire perspective would be completely different, right? Then how much healthy you are, that also will decide what kind of careers you can choose from. Then many a times even all parameters are fit and fine, what all the responsibilities and commitments the person has sometimes also decides what kind of career they want to have. I mean, take example of this way, people nowadays prefer to work from home, right, for various benefits which the work from home offers. But then for everything you cannot have work from home as well. Nowadays most of the companies are pulling the people back to the office, thinking that people at home are not giving their due attention to the work. Sometimes it is right, sometimes it is wrong. It depends company to company, job to job, and even person to person also. But remember, this also plays a very important role in terms of how to go about deciding a career. Suppose take example for a girl and she got married. After marriage, her location will change, right? Her responsibilities and commitments also will change, and accordingly she may also need to adjust in her career life, right? So that's what I mean by responsibilities and commitments. What is the final goal of your life? What you want to finally achieve in your life, or what you want to do with your life, right? Where you are heading into. The final goal of your life also plays an important role in deciding a career. What will be the job location and what would be the working environment? I mean, every job environment is not one and same, right? Suppose you are working in a factory, your work environment is different. You are working in IT industry, your working environment is completely different. And you are working in army and space and automobiles and other areas, your life will be completely different. Suppose you are working as a marine engineer, your working life will be completely different, right? Even job location matters, where you are, which country you are. So that country's rules and regulations you are supposed to follow if you go abroad in case. And even if you are within India also, location to location, the entire pattern gets changed. Right? Now, IT versus non-IT sectors. So which sector it is? In IT also there are thousands of varieties. Remember that SAP is just one skill set as such. SAP is not the only skill set available in the IT side. There are n number of skill sets, and every now and then some new skill sets are coming up. For example, AI, IoT, machine learning, right? All these are new buzzwords are coming up in the market, right? So which sector you want to work, whether it will be IT sector or non-IT sector, you need to decide. Then technical versus non-technical skill sets. Technical, I mean, it can be lead to the programming side also, and technical also is called as sometimes if you are fitting and fixing certain kind of, I will say, hardware and software kind of thing, then also it is called as technical skill sets. Non-technical means some kind of administration job, some kind of management job, some kind of project management job, and then that also has too many varieties basically, right? How much competition the job market offers, how competitive is the market. Suppose there are many people in the job market with the same kind of skill sets, then the competition will be high. If there are less number of people in the given job market, competition would be less and price also may be little higher. So you might get a better compensation with that regard, right? Then many a times people think that once we got a degree and once we got the training from the SAP side, this is enough. We don't need to invest even a single penny extra in my learning. A very wrong perspective. That is not the case at all actually, as per my understanding. That's what I personally feel. You always need to spend some money in order to learn something new. Don't think that it is an expense, it is actually an investment. Okay, whatever you spend on your learning and on your personality development, on your self development, and many other related factors is actually not an expense at all. Over a period of time, it will give you so many fold of returns that you will not be able to count how many fold of returns it has given you back, provided you work for it. If you don't work for it, it is not going to happen. Remember, learning is not a one time activity, it is a lifetime activity as such. Let's move on to the next topic: career at different stages of life. Very, very interesting topic. If you are a fresher, your mindset will be entirely different. Okay, if you are midway through or you have couple of years of experience and then you are thinking that okay, now I need to move, because even I have started my career into a different sector and then later on I moved into the different area altogether, right? So I will say I fall into the number 2, what is being written, moving into a new career with some non-related work experience, right? Moving into the career with some related work experience. What I mean by that is, suppose somebody has done his CA, for example, chartered accountancy, they have completed their degree, and then they work for a particularly maybe CA from maybe couple of years, and then they slowly moved into the accounting side or maybe in the ERP segment, maybe Oracle or the SAP, and then there are many more, right? So this is called as a related work experience. I personally had, I will say, more or less like non-related work experience. Then career switch at the midlife of an individual. Suppose somebody has gained an experience of 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, and after that they feel that their career is more or less quite saturated. There is not much scope and opportunity to learn, grow, and explore. So they want to switch into a new career. So that kind of people also are there. I have come across who are planning it and who are even working for it. But it is a tough call, I will say. It's not an easy call, right? Then there are people who decide to switch on to a different career even at the end of their working life. I have seen people applying for jobs even at the age of 55, 58, 59. So application of job you can do even before your last breath. There is no issue with that part, but then you need to see how much time you are left with to do certain the activities which you are doing it, right? Then some people can also plan their career, what will they will do after the retirement. People can choose. Nowadays people don't want to sit idle, they want to be remain active in their social life, they want to remain active in their professional life, and the skill sets which they gain over a period of years, over a number of years rather, I will say, it's very, very valuable. That is something is not available in the market to buy or sell. Only if they share, then only it can be given, otherwise it cannot be given. And many a times people also need to switch their career due to some kind of accident, due to some kind of situations, due to some kind of responsibilities, and due to lot of different factors. So it is very, very important to note that career is not one and same across the lifetime. It keeps on changing depending on lot of factors, as I just mentioned couple of them, that everybody will have a different perspective whatever I have just mentioned on the slide. Let's move on to the next. Now, from the fresher's perspective, I will say, and I'm talking purely from the SAP point of view, right? So we can have college pass out people who has done, suppose maybe BCom or MCom, maybe CA or maybe CA inter kind of thing, right? Particularly from the commerce background I'm talking about. And then there can be people also who has done their BTech, or sometimes even your medical degree also people, sometimes some lawyers, some tax accountants, ICWA, and lot of different background of people also sometimes try to get into the SAP world. It's not that just only one area of the background of the people can enter into the SAP. SAP is an ocean where all background of people can actually fit into it, right? Then you also get people who are SAP trained candidates. What I mean by that is they join some institute, they take some training from some people who train them, and then they think that they have got the full training of it. Again, it is always a incomplete training. It will never be complete as long as experience is not added to it. Okay, and then the biggest painful point is SAP certified candidates. The moment they do the certification and somehow they pass out the certification, they think that they have got the right to ask for SAP job. Again, a very wrong misconception, because I know that how most of the people nowadays pass their certification exams. Okay, I don't want to go into the detail of it, but that is what is the point is, and they think that because they have passed out the certification, they are now become eligible for the job. Okay, that is not the case in reality. The reality is entirely different than the perception a fresher will have in their mind, right? Remember one thing, in order to reach somewhere, you need to start somewhere. If you don't start somewhere and keep waiting and wasting your time, you will remain throughout life as a fresher only and will be always under pressure. Don't let that happen. Initially, whatever kind of job you are getting in hand, do not kill your time beyond a certain point. Pick up the job and start working. Gain some experience. SAP is more or less, I will say, all about experience. The more experience you have, the better person you will become, right? And when you talk with experience, then the discussion is entirely different. And when you talk without any experience, then the discussion is entirely different. Remember something, experience is not something you can gain by a piece of paper, whether it is a college degree or SAP certification. SAP certification does not give you any experience. This is just a theoretical exam and it is nothing more than a college degree. Okay, though it is a professional degree, no doubt, or professional certification, no doubt, but again, as I said, certification is not a guarantee for the job. So don't fool yourself, don't fool others. Okay, so you have to start somewhere. If you suppose you get a SAP end user job also in the beginning, pick it up, keep trying. Don't think that always I will go into the consulting side only. Everybody is, first of all, everybody is not fit for the consulting work as well. Let me tell it very clearly. People think that they are fit for the consulting. No, I will say absolutely no. Not everybody is fit for the consulting. Every job, as I said, has its own set of parameters, terms and conditions, and you need to see how many are you are able to fulfill out of the list which is given by the job and the career, right? So don't take it easy. So you have to decide accordingly. Now, coming to the people who have some kind of work experience, it can be like BPO end users, voice and non-voice based BPOs, maybe some business core team members, people from accounting and non-accounting backgrounds, they also can have some kind of work experience, right? And sometimes people are also moving into the SAP side due to the peer pressure or maybe due to the compulsion, right? And they can also come where people have passion and they think that SAP offers a very decent growth opportunities. So these are the variety of people usually you will come across, where people will have usually work experience. They will not be just having educational qualifications or the set of piece of papers, but they will also have some kind of practical exposure to the real world situations, scenarios, problems, solutions, right? So these are also the candidates where people will try to get some kind of training and then they try to get into the SAP world, right? Next, move on to the next slide. People can ask how to get into the SAP job market, right? Remember, every job market is different, and so is the case of SAP job market. So getting job purely based on your interest. Remember one thing, when you decide for a career, choosing the right career, choosing the right path is very very important for the rest of the life success, depends on that, right? So whatever is your inner calling, I mean, what is lying in your heart and mind, what you like the most, that kind of thing you need to choose from the career perspective. Remember the movie Three Idiots, where person had to leave his engineering in between, and he has chosen his something which he was liking the most, right? Same should be the case with your career choice as well. You should not choose something under pressure or because of somebody's advice. If you choose, you will suffer like that. Then, how comfortable you are in the highly uncomfortable position. That also is one of the parameters SAP job will literally require you to have. Sometimes you have to handle 10 things at one go. Are you good at it? Will you able to manage the pressure? Will you be able to manage the situation? Because I have seen all such kind of situations in my long career. Okay, so I have very good experience with that regard. But then, do you have that experience? Will you be able to manage that experience? Will you be able to manage that situation? Do you have guts to handle lot of things at a time? Right? You must be always high on learning, because unless you learn something new daily, you will not be able to grow in this particular sector. It's very very important, very very critical, very very needed, right? Suppose you are planning to get into the SAP FICO site, ensure that you have very good exposure to the account. You should know what is debit, you should know what is credit, how the accounting entry is being passed on, what will be the impact of these entries on the balance sheet and profit and loss account. And then there are hell lot of business terminologies related to the accounting, where you should know the meaning of it, you should know the usage of it, and you should also know the impact of it on the business processes, business profits, business margins, and so on. The list is literally endless. If I start counting those lists, it will take me at least 1 2 days time to complete the list, and still probably list will not be over because the list is endless. Okay, so if you are planning to move into the SAP FICO side, please make sure that you are comfortable with all the accounting concepts. If you are not comfortable with accounting concepts, you will not be able to survive in this market. It is very very tough, very very competitive, and very very demanding. Job itself demands a hell lot of things. Are you ready for it? Your answer will decide whether you will be in or you will be out. I have seen people who have seen other people also jumping into the SAP world. They also prepared themselves very well for the job. Okay, they somehow got the training. They entered into the SAP job also. They worked there for some time, and then they felt that this is not my cup of tea to survive in the long run. They again switched their career and went back to the same profession where they have started with. Right? I will say never ever do that mistake, because it kills your time, it kills your effort, it kills your lot of things which you should not do with it, right? So I said about good exposure to the accounting for FSO candidates, right? Then you also need to be very very clear about all the basic concepts. Whatever you module you choose, whether it is technical module or functional module, does not matter. You should be clear with all your basic concepts. You also should have logical thinking and explaining capability. it is very much needed for the job which you are looking to have, right? You should be good in your verbal and oral communication, and even in the written communication, though it is not mentioned there, but you should be good in writing good emails, good explanation you need to be good at, right? One very important requirement for the SAP job is you should be good in English spoken, written as well, because most of the work, if it is in India and that too from the local language, probably somehow you can manage with your local language, but then the moment you go international, the English becomes a compulsory to have. It is not an optional. After that it becomes a compulsory, because many a times we get overseas assignments, right? So dealing with English language is a must. Try to learn even one foreign language also, something like French, German, Japanese, uh, Spanish, and likewise, right? So if any language you are comfortable with, that will increase your chances as you grow in your career. You might go to the different places, different locations, and different exposures also you can get, right? Moving on to the next slide. Please keep your documents like PAN card and passport ready, because this is also one of the important things you must have, particularly for the SAP job market. You should have openness to travel, because many a times you might need to travel to different locations. As I said, many a times the kind of issues you will get in your hand, you have to explore lot of new things, something which you have never seen in your life you might need to see. So you should be comfortable with all these kind of things. You also need to always practice on your system. You should good in terms of networking with the working professionals if you really want to enter into the job market, so that if anybody has some opportunity and they refer you or they give you a chance, you should be able to grab the opportunity. Remember, every job is not meant for everybody, but then even the job which is applicable to you, you will get only if you are ready for it and if you are fully prepared for it. So preparation here is not a one time activity, it is an ongoing activity as long as you are working in the SAP. Okay, so keep that in mind at any point of time. You should have the open mindset as well. And for example, lot of things are also there. People sometimes get internship kind of work, right? Then what kind of work is being offered to you in terms of uh, implementation work or support work or the user training work, documentation work, individual work, full-time trainer work, corporate trainer, and the variety of job SAP offers is literally too many. You need to decide where you want to enter and how you will fit into it. And remember, learning here is a continuous activity. It is not a one-time activity as such, right? Let's move on to the next. Write SAP module. You need to choose which SAP module fits you, where you fit into, basically, rather I will say, right? Which area you are into, whether you want to go into the technical side like ABAP, Basis, PI, PO, PODS, right? SAP FIOD, and then there are many more, right? And what is your educational background, and whether your educational background is backing up your SAP module, whether it is functional or technical or not, also plays a very important role in choosing the right SAP module to get into, right? And if at all you have any kind of related work experience, this can go for the experienced professionals also, and this can go for the freshers as well, depending on person to person. Moving on to the next slide. Look at some of the questions and queries which I have got, which I have copied directly from the LinkedIn post, which where people have asked me that these kind of things like, sir, I am a certified S/4HANA professional, can you guide me how to start a career, and whether opening for the freshers, can you please refer me, and XYZ, I have done the certification, this, that, blah, blah, blah. As I said initially also during my in the previous slides, that certification is not a guarantee for the job. That is the point number one. What you have to do is people need to learn, understand, and practice. Plus, without preparation, it will be difficult to survive even if you get the job. Remember, here the saying goes, survival of the fittest. Whoever is the best will only stay in the job. And if you are not fit into the job, you will be thrown out even if you get the job. I agree that many people are not getting opportunities because SAP always asks for some kind of experience. Okay, so particularly for the freshers, I will say if you are not getting job in the SAP world, do not lose your focus. Just pick up something of your interest area and start your work. Gain some experience, right? And who knows, after gaining some experience, you might land up into the SAP job in one way or the other, as happened in my case. I did not start my career directly in the SAP world, and most of the people usually do not start their career directly from the SAP side as such. Many people hear SAP also for the very first time in their life when they get into the job. There are many people like that, right? So you need to decide how your life journey looks like. It will depend on a lot of factors, but then you should always sit on the driver's seat and run your vehicle accordingly, right? So I will tell you this Q and Q stands for questions and queries, which you have seen in the previous slides. Okay, so don't get confused why what is Q and Q. Q and Q is questions and queries. So what all things you need to do is you have to do a self preparation checklist for the job you are applying for. It does not matter whether you are at a fresher level or certain experience level. You also need to set the clear expectations, that in terms of where we are what all things you need to do in order to get that particular work, get that particular job, get that particular profile, get that particular kind of learning, and likewise, right? You also need to keep on trying. Remember one thing, your every attempt will not give you result. Most of the attempts will fail miserably. I mean miserably means really very miserably. You may not get also people responding to you all your points whatever you are asking for. If somebody has free time, they may respond. If somebody doesn't have free time, or they can also choose not to respond, right? So you can't help it out. So you need to have lots of patience and you need to keep on trying, and you also need to keep in touch with the system. What I have seen most of the people is who are particularly the freshly trained, they learn for once, they practice once, and then they think that now unless we get the job we will not learn or we will not explore and we will not practice further on the system. A very wrong practice. If somebody will do like that, then in that case they will not get something which they want to have in their life. It's very difficult. You have to learn something new daily, you have to explore something new daily, plus you should have a mindset of exploring the system. Don't expect everything to be spoon fed in your mind and to in your mouth. That way people think that you are a burden to them. They don't feel that they should help you to learn something new. So that also means you yourself should be a self starter in terms of learning. If you are not a self starter in terms of learning, it does not matter then which career you choose, you will always struggle to find a right place for yourself. Next, keep your professional network active and engaged, and always keep on building up your network, because I have always seen throughout my career is your networking actually helps a lot. Whenever you get some kind of job or some kind of things, it is very important to keep on learning, keep on exploring. Okay, as I said, certification is not a guarantee for the job. I have already explained it couple of times, so will not go further into it. Never think that people, perception and situation, everything is meant only for you. Everybody has their own set of things which they are dealing with. So never have an assumption that the moment I ask something and everybody is responsible to reply on my query. No, nobody is responsible to reply to your query. If somebody will have some time, they will reply you back. It is your duty only to reach them out, but then whether reply will come or not depends on the person who has received your query, right? Also important is everybody's life story is different. It is not one and same for any two individuals. So you have to script your own life journey, you need to script your own life story, you need to create your own personal career, and you should enjoy it as well, right? Don't plan your enjoyment when you are going to die. Big mistake. Enjoy your life as it moves on, right? Let's go to the next slide. Now, coming to the my personal opinion perspective, whatever I have seen so far in my life, based on that, I'm just telling you on these things. First thing is, there is no specific rule book written how to choose the right career for a particular person, be it a fresher, be it a midlife person, be it a retired person, be it anybody for that matter, right? So, based on the situation, based on the circumstances, based on the skill sets, based on your experience and exposure, based on the work experience you have, and based on the financial resources also you may have in hand, you can decide a career for yourself. It can be SAP, it can be non-SAP, it can be technical, it can be functional, it can be anything. Not a problem at all. Career is always a personal responsibility. Then lifelong impact. This decision will have a lifelong impact because it is a very critical decision. This single decision can decide all the success, all the failures, all the ups and downs in your life. So, because of this reason only, this I agree that particularly for the freshers, they may not have enough maturity to understand the criticality of this decision. But then, as they grow in their career life, as they grow in their professional life, as they grow in their working life, they learn all these things very, very soon, that how much impact it can have. Another point is, don't wait beyond a certain point of time to start something. Don't wait for 10 years to start your career in the SAP. And very, very wrong thing which I have seen many people is, many people before securing something in their hand, they just quit their current running job and then they jump into the SAP world. I will say this is a very, very costly mistake people usually do. Many a times I have seen people doing it. I and my Rajiv Kumar's personal request to all of you is, please don't do that. 2 points you have to always keep in mind. You should try to secure SCP job while you are already working on some or the other kind of job. That is point number one. Point number two, if you are a fresher, you can try for maybe 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, maybe even 6 months. But if you did not get a job in 6 months time after completion of your degree, please pick up any job which is available to you and start working. Don't waste your time like this, because if you work for 6 months even in a company, you have gained an experience of 6 months, which is a valuable item to have in hand. Do not waste your time is my ultimate advice to all career oriented people. Do not kill your time. Always use and invest your time, right? That is how you will become a mature individual, right? And please do not compare your life with others' life as well. If somebody has become an engineer, it does not mean that the entire world has to become an engineer only. You can become a doctor, you can become a nurse, you can become a astronaut, you can become a armed forces person, you can become whatever you want. Why only SAP, or why only this particular profession only? No, don't compare your career with somebody else's career. Everybody's career is different, and as I said, it is individual's responsibility. It is not company's responsibility. It is neither the social responsibility. It is not the government responsibility to provide you a career. Your career is your personal responsibility at any point of time, from end to end perspective. I mean, from the starting of your life till the end of your life. Your career is your responsibility. Next, do not let others drive your car. Be on the driver's seat at any point of time. Just because somebody said you to do this, don't start doing this. Do your calculation, do your analysis, do your understanding, arrive to a conclusion, and then start driving your car. Don't drive based on somebody else's instruction your life. If you drive your life based on somebody else's instruction, then sometimes it can be very, very dangerous. And when you start feeling the dangerousness of it, you will not be in a position to come out of it. So before you start your vehicle, do a thorough analysis. Very, very important. And these are some of the experiences I wanted to share to all my people who are watching this video. So let's how the things are. Coming to the conclusion, since career is always a choice, so choose carefully. Another very important point which I would like to mention is always you should review your career progress on regular intervals. This interval you can decide. It can be half yearly, it can be annually, it can be biannually, it can be in every 3 years, 5 years kind of thing. But you should have a time frame on which you should review your career progress on a regular interval, right? Just like what we have performance appraisal usually on an yearly basis, right? Same way you should do your career analysis also on a regular interval based on your choice and based on the requirement. Plus, remember that SAP is not the only job available in the market. So don't be completely dependent on it. There are n number of jobs available other than SAP as well, right? So in order to get the SAP job, don't kill your precious time. Use your time to gain some experience in some other related fields also, and parallelly you can keep trying in the SAP side as well. There is no harm, but don't waste your time. Always invest your time. Next, you should be self aware and you should know where you are heading into, what is the final goal of your life. At any point of time, if you feel that you need to do some course correction kind of thing in your life, please do that. Do not hesitate, because you can't keep on driving on a straight line at any point of time. Sometimes there will be some curves, some turns, turns and twists. So everything you have to manage with your vehicle, nothing but your career, right? Then another very important point would be you have to hold yourself fully accountable for whatever choices and decisions and actions you do. You cannot blame somebody else for that decision, for your actions, right? Even blaming won't help. So you have to hold yourself accountable for it. Then only you can progress in your life. Then only you can grow in your life. That is how you can make your career a grand success, right? So that is very, very important perspective, I will say. Now, if you have any questions, you can put it into the comment section of this particular video, or you can even drop an email to the email ID mentioned over here. Now I have come to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel. I will keep on bringing such kind of videos in future as well, and it will always give you some valuable insights on various topics related to the SAP side, SAP jobs, SAP job market, and many more such scenarios, right? As this is an ongoing activity, it is not a one time activity. So you have to keep a watch and keep learning, keep growing, and wish you all a very happy and successful career in your life ahead. Okay, thank you, have a good day, bye bye. And one more thing, please not just watch this video, share this video in your between among your people, among the groups you are part of, and ensure that whatever I have explained in this entire video, you are working on that, you are learning from it, and you are making a right decision for your life. Okay, bye bye. Thank you.